So welcome to the channel, guys. This review is about a Vario Empire, a manual wine movement watch from a micro brand company in Singapore. Art Deco inspired design, modern contemporary specification. What could go wrong? I'm sure there could be something wrong with this watch, so you better watch this review to find out. But there's going to be a lot of analysis on the design because I really love how some thought has gone into this piece to have something that is Art Deco inspired. So I hope you enjoy this review. I'll see you in a moment. So what are we dealing with stats and specs wise? Well, I'll start with turning this light off because it's flickering. Weight, it's only 62 grams on the supplied leather strap. 38mm case size, which is very nice, spot on for most wrist sizes. I'd say it's almost the perfect sweet spot for many people. The lug to lug is a sweet as well, 46.2. It wears like an absolute dream. 20mm lug width, so easy for strap changes. You even get drilled lugs here for, again, easy strap changes, for strap removal tool, things like that. And the height of the watch is only 11.1, so it's quite slim. It looks chunky, doesn't it? What do you think? I think it's quite chunky. And then the dial is very dominating, 32, so very clear and legible. The average dive watch, 40mm dive watch, is only a 28mm dial. So we've got a lovely big visible dial area, and that is what this watch is showcasing. It's all about that dial. God, look at it, absolutely gorgeous. Now, material wise, we've got a brushed and polished stainless steel 316L case and crown, and all the glass on here is sapphire, so I'm just going to prove that. We've got dye here, the diamond selector, so you set it up and press on there, whack the camera, very professional. Sapphire on the underside and sapphire on the front. So this lovely crown, that is 5.8mm, and I'd say anything as close to 6 as possible or above, for me personally, is a great crown size, because you have to interact with it like you do all the time with this, because this has a manual wine movement, which I'll go into detail in a minute. You want to have something that's easy to grip, and this lovely onion style dismachining on this crown is stunning, and it's so easy to get a grip of, and it's not too big, it doesn't stick out too much, so it's not something you're worried about catching on anything. So it's a great size crown for ease of use, and you only got one pull out action for changing the time. Very smooth, and the winding action of this is very smooth. Now I'm going to discuss the movement, because other than what you can see, the main showcase of this watch is this Miyota movement. It's the 6T33, and the good thing about this Miyota movement is you can get it in this skeletonized form. You can get it in this silver version, or you can get it in gilt, which looks all goldy sort of coloured. So it's a high beat movement, and it's running a little bit faster than this model, to be honest. I think this could be regulated, well, it can be regulated just to slow it down a bit, but it's running a little bit too fast. But everything else seems to be okay and quite healthy. But it's about 20 turns for this 17 jewel movement to fully wind it, 40-hour power reserve. And I just think it's a nice, beautiful little thing to have on display. A lovely information displayed on there. And then looking at the case back as well, you've got enough detail on there to know more about the watch. Obviously it's mechanical, duh, there it is. Sapphire, showing that front and back, very nice. Designed in Singapore, and stainless steel, we know that. 5 ATM for 5 atmospheres, 50 meters water resist, which is great for every day, really. Unless you're not really going to go swimming in this. It's not that kind of watch, really, is it? But you could get it a little bit wet, but I wouldn't trust it. It's more for smart casual occasions, I would say. We've covered most of the specs now, so I'm going to move on to the strap, because this is a lovely soft strap. It's really supple, and it's got nice embossing on the underneath. So it's genuine Italian leather, quick release, sealed edges, very supple, very soft. But you know, you don't have to just get your straps from Vario. You can check out my store. But anyway, that's enough about me and my store. But we're here to talk about this gorgeous watch. You've got the specs already. You're going to want to know, I really want to share with you information as to why I think this is an immensely successful Art Deco inspired design watch. As a lover of Art Deco design, the reason why I love it is because it's where form meets function, and you've got such clear, clean beauty in the way things are designed, because it's a combination of colors as well. We've got emerald green here. I loved the emerald green. I had to get the emerald because that's a very appropriate Art Deco color. I mean, it was popular in jewelry and fashion and home decor and decorating, things like that, and furniture, you name it. And it's very in keeping with the time, and so is gold, especially gold. And this font as well, we've got sans serif for the numerals. It's just stunning Arabics that are so gorgeous, contrasting against that emerald green dial with a combination of the brushed element going all the way around where the Arabics are. But then the thing that is, for me, is just mesmerizing is this geometric pattern in the middle. Now, what was popular for design with Art Deco on that era was strong, bold, geometric patterns combined with strong and bold, natural, deep, rich colours, such as the golds, the greens and blacks, etc. This is combining those so beautifully. That's why I was drawn to it. And then the dial at the moment, I want to just show you these striking elements you get with the case. So you've got these bold ridges, very vertical. It's just something almost architectural with this design element. Sort of got the sharper edges, and the vertical brushing running along here is stunning. And then effectively you've got the geometrically designed beautiful crown for obviously winding the movement and time setting. These are all the little clever elements which sort of dance together to create this overall feel. There's sort of kind of pros and cons, if you will, for things I'm not so sure on when it comes to the design element, and that's the thickness. Even though it's only 11.1 thick, I still think that there's a pro and a con to it. The pro is it adds some boldness, some striking height to it, even though 11 is quite slim. But for a 38mm watch with a very short lug to lug, it adds a bit of depth. I'm going to show it to you on wrist to show you why that doesn't actually add too much of a problem. As you can see on the wrist, it sits a little bit high, but it's not unpleasantly so. It's actually a very comfortable watch to wear, and it has the right proportions to fit many wrists. I mean, I have a medium wrist, 7 inches, just for reference. If you haven't seen a lot of the videos, you know, I always talk about how big my wrist is. It's such a nice light watch. I mean, to have a mechanical watch, less than 70 grams, it's a real everyday watch as well. That's another benefit with the sapphire as well, which adds some play with the light. You know, it's really adds some shine and some gloss. The other thing I wanted to discuss with you, see the edge of the crystal here, kind of frosted. I think to help with this play with the light better, that should have been more just a regular reflective surface. That just doesn't have where it plays with the light. I'll just give you an example of what I'm talking about. I put sapphire in my Casio Duro. Check the video if you haven't seen it, but see how this edge of this crystal, which is just a little bit visible, it just catches the light more and reflects. And that's why it's nice to have, if you put sapphire in, it just gives you a slightly more reflective property, which adds a bit of class and some beauty to the crystal. And where I think this watch is failing a little bit, there's not much play with the light on the edge of the crystal. The same underneath. It's nice to have sapphire on the underneath, which people say, oh, there's no point to that. The reason why I say that there is because I've got an Oris. That doesn't have a sapphire on the display case back of the Aquis I've got. And it just starts to get dull and a bit scratched up and looks a bit tired quite quickly. Because on your wrist, believe it or not, that's the bit that gets absolutely knackered quickly, because you get tiny bits of dirt and sort of fluff underneath, and that just grates against the surface and it just messes it up a bit. Things to look out for, I'd say, is, as chunkiness, the pro is it adds some drama to it, if you will. A bit dramatic, but adds drama and height to the watch. But then if this is kind of a slightly more casual, dressier piece, I think they could have gone the other way and gone ultra slim and elegant, but still had these lovely striking features which add some character. And again, bold lines and chunkiness that you get on the lugs and the case sides are what gives this watch that depth of character and design, which is what I love. And then there's just these gorgeous gold or gilt Arabics going all the way around. They just, again, the way they contrast with green, it's such a beautiful combination. I loved it when I had my Seiko Alpinist that had that combination. They work so well together. Criticism though is the finishing close up. When you look closely on the hands and things, it's not that well polished. There's little sort of elements of untidiness in terms of the, there's not an ultra flat, smooth, polished finish. There's sort of residue on there and things like that, and it's just a bit disappointing. But that's if you're really analysing. But generally, thing is, if you don't have that ultra polished elements with the Arabics and hands, etc., if there's tiny things on there that are sort of impeding the light reflection, that does stop it having that sort of pop. So I think this could pop better. I really think there's something that's letting this watch down, is the ability for it to pop because of the lack of ultra finishing. But this is a less than £300 watch, and this colour for me personally is the best one because it's most in keeping with that kind of era of design. If you're going to go with Art Deco, go properly. Do it right. That's where this geometric pattern in the middle really sings. Look at it. Really, it's just glorious. So price wise, it's like I say, it's about 275, 280, depends where you buy it from. That's in pounds, by the way, so it's not the cheapest watch, but bear in mind these are limited runs as well. They are rare. They're not going to be something you're going to just get on the high street, and you're going to get excellent customer service. You get something that is just such great all-round quality, and I'm saying that from experience because I'm obviously holding the thing, and it's not something I would just recommend lightly, because obviously my reputation depends on my recommendations, and I'm backing everything up I've said about this watch with my experience and the feel it gives me personally. And you may or may not agree with me, but I'd say overall this has got all the right elements, and I've highlighted little elements which I would be a bit concerned about. The movements running too fast and slight finishing defects with regards to the polishing elements on the hands and the indices maybe is slightly disappointing, but the dial makes up for it, and it's so extremely comfortable to wear. So I really hope you've enjoyed sort of my take and my presentation of this watch to you guys, because devil's in the detail and this has lots of details. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed my take on this piece. If you have enjoyed it, do subscribe, but I look forward to reading your comments and having a chat with you about it. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.